School UIL calculator contest. In this video, I'm trying to go over the rules and then show you how to do some things on the calculator. I'm not teaching you how to do the contest, but just to get the answers in the right format, because that's one of the chief goals of the calculator contest. We use something called scientific notation. So I'll go over the rules, show you how to use the calculator, and hopefully and there are other resources that I'm sharing with you, and practice contests so you can learn more. Now we'll go over the instructions for the calculator contest for middle school. First, you will be given 30 minutes to take this test. There are 80 problems on the test. Calculators are limited to the types specified by UIL, and they are no longer required to be cleared. Basically, it needs to be a calculator that you don't plug in for electricity. So in other words, the TI-84s, graphing calculators are allowed. Now, how to write the answers. When you're taking this test, please feel free to flip to the front of this page. This beginning section right here, go ahead and highlight, is super important to look at, all right? All of your problems need to be written in 3 significant digits. So 3 significant digits means that 12.3, you can see 1, 2, 3 digits there. 123 has 3 digits. 123 with the decimal is fine, but you're wasting time by the decimal. So you can see that star. That means it's correct, but it's not recommended. You can also write 123 as 1.23. I'm sorry, you can write 12.3 as 1.23 times 10, but it's much faster to write it as 12.3. If your answer is 1.23, you are allowed to write it as 1.23 times 10 to the 0. So if you're using your calculator and you have it in this notation, it will automatically give you an E and a 0. The E stands for this piece times 10, and the number after the E is the exponent. So let me go ahead and change that color. So this number right here, that's the number after the E. So here it would be 1.23 e to the 1. You can write 1.23. You won't see that on your calculator. You'll just see 1, all right? Or if you have a -2 exponent, 1.90 to the -2. Now, what's incorrect are these. So incorrect is generally anything that has more than 3 significant figures. All right, let me go ahead and highlight that. So this is incorrect right here. This has 4 significant figures. So does this one. This is just a strange format, so it's not the number of significant figures, but it really needs to be written more like the one above it, where it goes times 10 to the 2, all right? Don't use a dot. Dot is bad. The problem here is the extra significant figure. Yeah, let me just highlight what the problems are. All right, so that's the problem. This general parentheses is the problem. You want to write it like the thing on top. Don't use an asterisk. This one is only 2 significant figures, 0.19. So that, and this one is also just 2. You need another significant figure. So this one here is 3 significant figures, but the problem is where the decimal is. If you had written this as 1.90 times 10 to the -2, that would be okay. And then, as I mentioned before, your calculator displays an E, but that we don't write an E. We write it times 10 to the -2. All right. For stated problems, so if you have an integer, let me go ahead and change colors so you can see this. If you have an integer, we are not doing significant figures. So if you have an integer, you provide an integer. Don't worry about significant figures. You just provide the integers. For $, you do, so that's a money problem. You answer to the nearest dollars and cents. Don't round. And then sometimes you'll get some significant digit problems that have an SD next to them. And if they do have an SD, which is pretty rare, then you might have to estimate what is the appropriate number of significant digits. All right. So again, integer problems are indicated by integer in the answer blank. They must be exact. No plus or minus 1 digit, no decimal point or scientific notation. Speaking of which, there's a strange thing with some calculators that they might be off on that third digit by 1. So if the answer on a regular problem is 123, but you write 124, that's still 3 significant digits, but you're off by the last digit. That's actually counted correct. Okay. So integer problems, though, are integers. So we're exact, no plus or minus 1 digit, no decimal point or scientific notation. All right. Dollar signs should be to the exact cent. Plus or minus 1 cent is permitted. All right. So you can be off by 1 penny on these. The decimal point and cents. So you need the point and the cents. So if the answer is $23, you must write 23.00. Okay. You may see some symbols on the test like angle measure, rad means radians, DEG means degrees. Inverse trigonometric functions. So arcsine is the inverse sine, right? And then special numbers like pi. So you have here, you can, so pi is 3.14159, and there is a button on your calculator to do that. If you want to see some tips on how to set up your calculator, I have shared a special intro video, which hopefully you watched before contest day. E, there's E, and it's also on your calculator. Logarithms, log means log base 10, ln means log base e, or the natural log. Now, all problems answered correctly are worth 5 points. 4 points will be deducted for all problems answered incorrectly or skipped before the last problem. So one thing that's different from middle school and high school is high school, it is worth 5 points, but we actually only deduct 2 points in the high school. So one of the things you want to be careful about is notice if you get it wrong or if you skip it, it counts against you. So do not jump to the back of the test, all right? So look at your problem numbers when you're working on these. And a lot of students will just do like the number crunchers, we call them, computational. If you don't know how to do some of the other problems like a geometry problem, it's very normal to skip it. But do know that you will be losing 4 points for skip problems. But you'll probably have to skip some because the odds of you knowing every problem in order is very low. So with that, you have 30 minutes. Your proctor will be observing you quietly. And you can only have your calculator and your contest. You are allowed to change your answers in array, so it's not like number sense. So you can scratch things out. Now, if you write something in the answer blank, that counts as attempting the problem. So let's say you got to problem 39, for example, and you start to write an answer in problem 40. Then we count problem 40. So we will count up until the last problem you attempt where you have work in the answer blank. Work on the other area to the left around the problems, that's allowed. So if let's say you make it to problem 39, but all you have is scratch work on problem 40 on the left, not in the answer blank, we stop scoring at problem 39. So with that, good luck. Your proctor will give you 30 minutes. You should be silent. There should be no alarms going off during the contest. And once you are given the instruction to stop, you actually are allowed so when she or he says time's up, if you have an answer in your calculator, you may finish writing that down in the answer blank. However, you cannot punch any more keys on the calculator. So pretty much hands off the calculator. You can finish writing what's there, but then put your pencils down and the proctor will be through to pick up your contest. So good luck. Let's look at the first problem, and it's negative 5,410 minus 7,000. So if you're using the calculator, and again, I shared the link with you so you can have a printout of this problem with you. First of all, don't hit the minus button, hit the negative button, and then you have 5,410 minus 7,000. I'm going very slowly because I'm using a computer calculator. So you'd be tempted to write down negative 12410. Unfortunately, even though it is the right solution, it is not the correct answer for the calculator contest. We need to put this in 3 significant digits. So you probably want to do, you could say negative 12400, so you don't actually have to change to scientific notation. So let me just write that down. This number, 400. So this number would be an acceptable answer because it has 3 significant digits. So we don't want that extra 1 right there, okay? But you can have your calculator automatically do this. So I always hit mode, and sometimes I forget. You see the scientific notation, right? Then you're going to want to come down to float. And float is usually the number of decimals, the number of digits after the decimal. So I'm going to hit 2 and double check. The easiest way to get out of this for me is to hit mode clear. That works the fastest. So I can say, okay, let me go ahead and change this answer. All right. I'm just going to take that number and hit enter. That did not work. Let's make sure we hit that again. Mode. Oh, it's in normal now. So see how it added 2 decimal places there? Make sure that that psi is highlighted. I'm kind of glad that error happened. So if it's over here, it's not in scientific notation. All right, let's get out of here again. And then I'm going to go up to this answer, hit enter. And now it gives me the negative 1.24 e to the 4th. Again, remember that we can't have the e here. You're going to write this as negative 1.24 times, like an x, over on the contest. So again, just to show you what I mean, I'm going to pull this back here. It's negative 1.24 e to the 4th. So here I would write negative 1.24. And then make an X, and then do a 10, and put your negative 4 up there. And that would be a correct answer. So as you can see, here's the calculator contest. You have quite a few computational. These should be pretty straightforward. The bottom problems are always a little bit more challenging. They're often called stated problems or word problems. So a lot of students will typically do these number crunchers, we call them, where it's just punching into the calculator. If you're unsure, skip these word problems and then go to the next page, continue on the number crunchers, and you can see they get more complicated as you go along. And then you have, Harlingen. I was born in Harlingen. Anyways, you have word problems at the bottom, okay? And who knows, yes, they even give you some geometry. When you come to high school, it will actually be 5 problems on the bottom that are a mix of word problems, 3 word problems and 2 geometry. They're called stated and geometry. And you can see that there are 80 problems on this. Don't worry. If you're getting to problem 80, then that's pretty impressive. A lot of times when you're just starting off, you will basically be just doing, could be 40 problems, could be 50 problems, could be less, depending on what you're doing and where you are in your path. My sister-in-law was actually a state calculator champion for, I think, 2 years. And she said the secret is to just continue working a calculator contest as you can in your free time. And thank goodness UIL has made more contests available, so you can just go search them on the internet. I've already provided a link for this set of contests, and you can see that's set A. And look how the answer key looks here. Let me go ahead and click this so that gets out of the way. So remember how I told you negative 12400 is an accepted answer? So is negative 1.24 times 10 to the 4th. If this 4 was a 3 or a 2, that would be fine. And then here's some more. And then sometimes, do we have an integer here? See this one that says an integer answer? So that's the only form, and it has to be exact, all right? This one's a dollar answer over here. You are allowed to be off on the penny. And so what I suggest as you prepare for the contest is to not only work through this packet of problems that I shared a link with for you, but to work through as many problems as you can and work with your friends. This is actually kind of fun for people who like math. And just keep at it. And you'll be amazed how much better you can get at the calculator contest. Good luck.